A while back, I was scrolling through BCW's website and I came across a new comic book supply that I was curious about. I emailed my contact at BCW to see if I could get a sample for review, and the next thing I knew, there was a whole pile of goodies headed my way from BCW Comic Supplies. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 pieces of gear that BCW sent over and let you know my honest thoughts on each of them. While I am an affiliate for BCW, which means I have a discount code that can save you money on your orders, this is not a sponsored video and BCW isn't moderating my opinions in any way. So let's kick this video off with the item that started this whole process, the comic book FoldAway. The FoldAway caught my eye for one reason. I have this really bad habit of going on comic book road trips with good intentions of buying quality over quantity. But what typically happens is by the time we leave the first or maybe even the second LCS we hit, I've got a pile of deals that I've found for the Como inventory, and ultimately I either have to buy a new short box or bum some space in someone else's short box for all the stuff I just bought on day 1, hour 1 on our 3-day multi-state road trip. My hope for the comic book FoldAway was that it would break down small enough that I could store it in the laptop compartment of my Hex X Jim Lee backpack. You guys have seen the backpack before, I talk about it pretty regularly, covered it here on the channel. Unfortunately, it's just too wide for that, but it does break down super thin and is a really easy pack-in for a suitcase or a slightly larger backpack. The FoldAway is a cloth-covered collapsible short box that has a built-in flap lid, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of a completely separate lid like you do with a standard short box. All you have to do is expand it out and place the rigid bottom into the FoldAway, and just like that, you've got an instant short box. Just be sure to put the bottom in with the pull tab up, otherwise it can be kind of a pain to get the bottom out when you go to break it down the next time. On the outside of the FoldAway, you'll find a handle at each end, as well as a sleeve for a card or a piece of paper to identify what's inside the box if you use it for like a more long-term storage purposes or just want to put your name on it. And then also there's a piece of Velcro on the outside, which is what holds the flap lid down. According to BCW's website, the FoldAway holds both modern and Silver Age comics and is capable of being stacked 3 high, and as of right now it retails for $14.99 as I'm recording this video. This is 100% going to be a go-to item for me when I hit the road. If I'm able to practice self-control and don't instantly buy a boxload of crap, I'm really only out a small amount of storage space for the collapsed FoldAway. But for those instances where I do lose control and start building piles right out of the gate, I don't have to bogart space in one of my buddy's short boxes. That is easily worth the price of admission for this one, in my opinion. In addition to the comic book FoldAway that I initially asked about, BCW surprised me with 4 other items from their catalog. They sent over one of their comic book bins, which are now available in red, a Storefolio, an art comic box, and a comic book showcase. Actually, they sent me 4 FoldAways and 4 showcases. I brought the spares with me to a comic convention earlier this summer, and I was giving them out to subscribers of the channel that came and found us at the show. It's always a good idea to mention you're a subscriber if you see us at a show, because just like this instance, you never know what kind of stuff I might have with me that I tend to give away. Now, let's take a look at these other items. I have to say I was excited to see the comic book bin amongst the items that BCW sent over because it's something I've been low-key interested in for a while now, but you know, me being kind of quasi-cheap like I am, I wasn't $30 curious about it. I remember when the comic book bin first came out because there were several area vendors that went all in on these things just right out of the gate, but I had my reservations because we put a lot of wear and tear on our boxes while traveling. My initial impressions of the comic book bin after I got the full IKEA experience assembling this thing out of the 6 individual pieces that it came in is that I'm still not sure what to think about it. I think I may give it a shot as the box for one of my wall book boxes to try it out and really just get a better feel for it. My main concern is that I can't really tell how well I've got it put together. There wasn't much in the way of like satisfying clicks or snaps or pops, while I was putting this thing together that led me to believe that it was locked in where it was supposed to be and that it wasn't just going to fall apart, the first bump that I hit it with. Next up, I don't know how high the likelihood of survival is for this thing if it takes a tumble during load in or load out. It's inevitable, sooner or later you lose a box off of the cart and you take a corner too fast, you hit a bump, you're on an incline, something happens and a box takes a dive. And cardboard can usually take a hit and keep on going, but I have this terrifying vision in my head of exploding red plastic and books flying everything if this thing takes a spill during loadout sometime. That said, there are some features I like about this box. First and foremost, the fact that it comes with an adjustable partition to help keep your books stored vertically, no matter how full or empty the box may be. On top of that, you can also buy additional partitions if you so choose for any of the comic book bin's 4 partition slots. The interlocking lid seems to be pretty solid, and each lid flap does have a small plastic slide lock to help hold it down. There are molded in handles on each end of this thing, but I gotta say, they're not the most comfortable things in the world. So I imagine if you were moving several of these that are fully loaded, it's gonna take a toll on your fingers over time. So you may be pretty sore by the time you get to the end of a load in or a load out if you're exclusively using these things. Long story short, I'm interested to see how the comic book bin performs on the road for us. I see a lot of dealers that use these things, and some almost exclusively at this point. And I mean, you never know, maybe I've been missing out all this time, so we'll see what we learn. The comic book bin is currently available in 3 different colors: red, like the one I have here, the original black, and then also in blue. All 3 of the standard size comic book bins are currently selling for $29.99. But there are also graded comic book and long box size versions of the comic book bin available for $45.99 and $56.99 respectively. So if that seems like something that might be up your alley, check it out. The next item that BCW sent over is a fancier version of one of my all-time favorite comic book accessories, the Storefolio. This Storefolio is one of the art Storefolios that BCW currently offers in the standard comic book size. Right now, there are currently 11 different art designs available for the regular comic size Storefolio, in addition to the plain black version. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time here talking about the Storefolio. I've been singing its praises for years at this point, so I'm sure most of you are familiar with my thoughts on it. What I will say is that I actually recommend the magazine-sized version of the Storefolio, as it's big enough to accommodate the larger-sized Mylars that we use for our Golden Age and pre-code horror comics. And on top of that, you can fit more comics and larger comics inside of the magazine-sized Storefolio. But if you rarely buy Golden Age or larger size comics, you'll be fine to stick with this regular size comic version. The regular size Storefolio ranges in price from $11.99 to $15.99 each, depending on which style or design you pick. Up next is an art comic book short box featuring the art of Boom Comics' Something is Killing the Children. This is a high quality short box, and it features art on all 4 sides as well as on top of the lid. And the cool thing I found about this is that the art on the lid actually lines up with the box on all sides, so you have this continuation of the art, which is pretty cool. The cardboard on this particular box is seemingly of a better quality than that of a standard short box, and the assembled box is noticeably straighter, cleaner, and tighter than a standard short box. Art boxes really aren't my thing, but I know a lot of collectors who enjoy being able to coordinate their boxes with the titles that are stored inside them. As nice as this box is, and it's a nice short box, I'll give it that, at $13.99 each, I don't see me making the move over from the standard short box, which currently sells for $7.99, because that extra $6 adds up pretty quickly if you're not into pretty comic boxes and you have a lot of them like I do. And last but not least is the comic book showcase. But this isn't your grandpa's comic book showcase. This is the new and improved UV resistant comic book showcase. Comic book collectors have been framing comics and hanging them on their walls for decades at this point, and unfortunately, after spending years smashed in a plain photo frame and exposed to things like sunlight and UV rays, the books often come out worse for wear. With the showcase, you don't have to worry about that because it's specifically designed to safely hold a comic book and to be hung on your wall. If you've always wanted to hang your favorite comic book up on your wall, then the showcase may be exactly what you're looking for. This example here is a current comic size version, and this sold out variant cover of Sanity #1 fits perfectly inside and displays great. If you're more of a Silver Age comic fan, the comic book showcase also comes in Silver Age sizes as well. The comic book showcase without UV protection will set you back $9.99, and the UV protected versions will run you $12.99 as of the recording of this video. So if you're trying to figure out how to get yourself a sweet looking comic book display wall, the showcase may be the solution that's right for you. Thanks to BCW for providing me with these products to review and share with the community. I know I'm going to get great use out of the comic book foldaway, and like I mentioned, I'm curious to see how the comic book bin will hold up on the road for us. I was happy to be able to share the extra examples with some subscribers earlier this summer, and I hope that you're all getting good use out of those things. And thanks again for stopping by the booth and saying hi and letting me know that you subscribe to the channel and enjoy the videos and all that stuff. I continue to appreciate it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I am an affiliate for BCW and I use their products both personally and professionally. What being an affiliate means is that when you use the code COMOCOMICS, when you make a purchase through BCW, you save 10% on your order, and they in turn give me a portion of your sale as store credit. Thanks to the community utilizing my discount code over the last months and years, I'd actually built up enough credit with BCW to completely pay for my most recent supply order, which was several thousand bags and boards and a couple of bundles of long boxes. And if you've bought supplies recently, you know how pricey things have gotten, so that really was a huge benefit for the non-YouTube side of Como comic books. I hope the discount code has helped each of you take the edge off of your own supply orders, or if it hasn't yet, I hope you'll give it a shot the next time you do order from BCW. Save yourself a little bit and help support the channel at the same time. Collect responsibly, and I'll see you in the next one.